You can just have an awkward moment.
But
All right,
let's go.
So stream's live.
So much light behind me. It's like a light bright.
Here, I'm gonna start hosting you guys.
Yeah.
Stream.
Actually, I can't do it because my computer's too dumb and it'll just explode if I try to do anything while I do this.
Okay, I'm gonna host BTB.TV or BTB TV.
Yeah, BTB TV.
In a few seconds. Whenever we're live, I'll throw everyone from my stream over.
Are you? You're not even streaming yet, are you?
Yeah, I started mine, and it's just a big group of the Skype call right now.
Okay.
And we're just waiting now.
I feel like I need to move my camera. So tiny. Little guy. What's this nonsense?
Your camera's like worse than a potato.
It's really bad.
Where did you get it?
I got it at it's a Logitech.
Well, that speaks for itself.
Logitech what?
A Logitech fucking...
I wasn't aware Logitech fucking grew potatoes.
They do now. Potato
I was
growing
not
is
aware
their
it was an Irish company.
second nature is Logitech's
Dude.
potato growing.
I'm sitting here just like, how can you spend money on a webcam now and have it not be HD default? You know, like 720 default.
It's 720p HD. That's all.
It's not.
There's not 72 pixels on your camera, Bob.
Really? Is it that bad looking?
It's terrible, dude.
Really?
Yeah,
On my screen, it's
You look
fine.
like we haven't unlocked your character yet.
Oh, nice. That's my favorite kind. I'll watch that. I clicky click. I'm gonna look at it on the stream on my giant TV.
Okay, so
oh wow, that does look awful.
Potato. Right, we should be live now, right?
Yeah, we are.
Okay, well, that's up to you two then.
I'm doing math in my head. We have 0 viewers. Oh, never mind. We got Vanny.
Don't hurt yourself.
Oh, wow, that is cool. Why didn't someone tell me to buy a new webcam? All right, so what's up first?
Are we live on the BTB channel?
Yeah, we're live on it.
Okay. Okay, turning off my stream.
Okay, what was that sound?
We're under attack by aliens. It's the Covenant.
Yep, Covenant decided to arrive 10 days early.
I just want to know how... I'm going to mute that. I want to know how everyone got these, like, copies already and are playing the campaign. I'm jealous.
You got to be non-US, and you have to be media press.
Really? Why
Yeah.
non-US?
Because I'm pretty sure IGN has like an exclusive first month deal.
Yeah.
Okay, I hosted the BTB stream, but I don't see it up just yet.
Okay, well, let us know when that's live, and then we can start properly.
I don't know who's supposed to be hosting this right now.
I see it on BTB TV. It's on my big screen right now.
Okay, I've got it now, finally. I had to refresh it. There we are. Oh, that looks nice.
Okay, take it away then.
And he immediately takes himself away.
Oh,
Yeah.
me?
And
Why am I at the top?
Because you got the American flag.
Isn't that the Puerto Rican flag on his chest there? Like Captain Puerto Rico America?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay, let's see. Finally getting ready to go. So hello everyone. I guess this is our first episode of BTB TV. We're going to be talking everything Big Team Battle and everything Halo related on this talk show. So, Funzbob, do you know what you wanted to talk about first? Well, actually, before I get going, we've got myself, Unyshek, Funzbob there in the bottom left. We have Tyler H, Tiberius Audley here on the bottom right, and we have John here in the bottom middle. Jonathan, what's your gamer tag again?
Matclan.
Matclan. That is right. Funzbob, did you have any topics to get us rolling all right here off the bat?
I actually I was talking to a bunch of friends the other day, and it surprised me how many people didn't know about the digital copy versus like the in-store copy. And I kind of wanted to just throw that out there just to like let everyone know that basically you kind of have to go digital at this point in time, because people are still like, oh, well, like why would I do that? They don't know all the details and stuff. So I figured, I don't know if you guys all know, and if everyone's already downloaded it and all that. Figured we could start and go with it.
Dude, I personally have already done the pre-loading, pre-downloading, because there's no point, especially with that 20 gigabyte update that's going to be coming that you can update beforehand. It really doesn't make sense to buy your disc at midnight and then wait another couple hours or days, depending on your connection, to actually get that downloaded before you can play.
Yeah, same here. I've basically set it to pre-download as soon as it was possible to do so because there was no disadvantage to it. In fact, it was advantageous over getting a physical copy. I mean, as it stands now, my Xbox hard drive is about 85% filled, and I have all of one disc. So I think I took up digital pretty quickly with this console generation.
Yeah. Well, and not to mention, if you do the digital, you get it at 9, so you get it 3 hours early.
Yeah. Depending on where you live, you get it early.
Well, okay, valid.
Yeah. Midnight for me.
Yeah.
But that's still ahead of you anyway, so...
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I don't even have an Xbox One yet.
You're doing it.
Someone's slacking.
Speaking of the Xbox One, personally, I've heard different opinions on this, but what do you guys think about the controller for shooters?
Ooh. I like it, most of it. The only issue that I've heard and can agree with is the bumpers. Everything else I find pretty solid with this controller.
Yeah. The bumpers threw me at first, but I'm kind of used to them now.
What's wrong
with the
bumpers?
I haven't used it on a single game. I've just watched Netflix on it, so it works really good for that. Good game.
What's wrong with the bumpers?
They're a lot closer to the triggers, almost like the same.
Yeah, there's no separation here. I'll pull mine out. There's no separation if you look at it.
You gotta leave room between you two for Jesus.
What?
Yeah, that made no sense.
It's a southern middle school dance kind of thing.
You gotta leave room between you two for Jesus.
That made no sense to those of us who didn't live in the Bible Belt.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Moving on.
But yeah, if you guys can see it on the stream, there is no separation of plastic between the bumper and the trigger. It's a little weird. It's nice if you want to keep your finger in between and then try and roll up and go down to hit them. But that no separation is kind of weird, and you actually have to hit the bumpers square on, pretty much. You got to hit them on the right spot in order to get that quick click. Otherwise, you're kind of just feeling around, and it's going to be slightly delayed.
For me, I sort of put the finger across like that, so I can use the top knuckle to click and pull the trigger with the bottom, like the actual tip of the finger.
Yeah, I hold my controller really weird with my left hand. I palm the front of it like this, and I have my thumb hit the top bumper. I don't know if you can see that, and then I got my index finger on the trigger. That's how I play. It's really weird, but it works.
Okay.
Let's see. Anyone else have any thing they want to talk about on that controller for shooters? The joysticks are really good, if you ask me. For the push and pull.
I like the stick for aiming. I feel the tension's just right. Whereas with the 360, I often struggled with for Halo especially. I almost wanted a sensitivity between sensitivities, like a 2.5 or 3.5, because the actual increments themselves never felt quite right. It was always either too slow or too fast. I couldn't get one that felt good. But one thing I've noticed with the Xbox One controller is that with games where you have to click the stick a lot, especially the left stick to sprint, because you click it and then push it almost as far all the way, it tends to wear on it a lot more. I can feel my left stick after lots of Destiny starting to feel a bit bit rough, whereas the right one's still fairly smooth.
Well, your
So that's
problem
something-
there is that you were playing Destiny.
I'm sorry, you're playing Destiny.
I had
that-
0 expectations for Destiny before buying it, so I wasn't actually let down
and
by
it
it.
still managed to crush them all.
Dude, Destiny was so much hype with so little substance. It was
That's what happens when you spend $500 million on an advertising budget
yeah,
Bye.
that's
for a
crazy.
game made by Bungie, who hasn't released a good game since Halo CE.
I don't know about that, my man.
Released. I'm specifically talking about the game in its release state.
Oh,
Because
okay.
Halo 2, when it was launched, was shit. It wasn't good until it was patched. Halo 3 wasn't good until we got decent maps like Standoff and Rat's Nest. Speaking to the big team crowd there.
Starting BTB and Halo 3 started with
And-
AR starts, right? That should say it all.
Yeah, it was 6v6 AR starts on Last Resort, Valhalla, and Sand Trap. And like every other game was fucking VIP. But like even 4v4 in Halo 3 at launch, you had the fucking pit version where you spawned up in the attics.
Yeah, dude.
Brilliant, brilliant game.
I'm glad they eventually started removing those attic spawns. I know they took them out for MLG, and they were only in Social Slayer towards the end, if I
Yeah.
remember correctly.
They made
I used-
pit stop for the other.
Not
Yeah,
gonna lie,
Yeah.
I like grabbing the sniper and the brute shot and the regenerator and then using the regen and brute shot to jump up to those attics and snipe people in social. It was funny.
Because you're a little
I-
bitch. You learned from Trike.
I watch people play Destiny, and I hear people say, "Oh man, this reminds me of Halo so much," and I just look at it and I'm like, "What?" I
No,
don't really understand that.
I don't get that either. I mean,
Maybe
Yeah,
Halo
it's-
Reach
it's-
after like a few rounds with the husband.
Yeah, I agree that like the skybox on that game is like magnificent. Like it looks amazing. The graphics are cool. I mean, I
Yeah,
guess it looks neat.
the artwork's great and it runs
Yeah.
at 30 frames a second, which is the same as what Halo used to. But
Yeah.
I mean, gameplay wise, I don't get the Halo vibe at all. It's very much its own thing.
I
Halo
definitely
Reach
don't
around.
see the common things between Halo and Destiny. People say it plays like Destiny, as you guys were saying. It's I don't see it.
There's one bit of the soundtrack that sounds almost exactly like a Halo track when it first starts up. You know on Halo 1 where you first step out on Assault on the control room to the big bridges and this like sort of drum beat starts up.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that's
it's
on
almost
a pale
exact-
horse.
Yeah, it sounds almost exactly the same as that, just the first like few bars of the track.
Huh. And it is Marty O'Donnell, you know. So
Oh,
It's kinda
speaking
like-
of which, I'm really hoping that he ends up finding his way back over to Halo after after the whole departure from Bungie.
After he gets his $80,000 like settlement or whatever it was.
Whatever
Yeah.
it was, yeah.
dude, I can't believe Bungie tried to pull shit like that. It's like you've been working with the guy for so long. Why are you gonna try and screw him over? You
Well,
know?
we don't know everything that happened. I mean,
Just it seems like he's been screwed over. Yeah, obviously we I don't know all the details, but from the general like idea or what we've heard of it, it seems like they just didn't really try and pay him at all. Or tried to skimp out on it.
there could have been any number of reasons. So
Yeah. Okay.
So what do you guys think of the whole rank, non-rank kind of thing? Because like a month back, they released like a thing saying like what playlists were ranked, what weren't ranked, and then
I
what the
don't
other
think
day.
that was final, was it? I mean, I'm pretty
No,
sure.
no, it wasn't final. It was just kind of what they wanted. It was all the playlists and all that. And then recently they just released another thing that was kind of opposite in a sense, especially towards the BTB crowd. It went from ranked to social. And then
I actually agree with that based on
Yeah.
the playlist currently.
so then
is.
Bravo posted on the Beyond forums, and he was like, "None of these are the final like decisions. We're still, those will be released on next week's bulletin." So I guess next Wednesday or whatever, we'll get like the final list of the ranked and social playlists, along with a little more of a breakdown of how the Halo 2 ranking system will work for everyone else.
yeah, that's pretty much been explained. I wrote a little article about that today.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's going to rank you similar to Halo 2, because Halo 2, when you won a match, you got hidden experience points towards your next rank, and when you lost those points.
Yeah.
So it's going to work the same way behind the scenes. But I have definitely read something from Josh Menke saying that they've tried to make it a bit faster and more fluid, so that players aren't stuck on a rank that they're not supposed to be at for too long. So it's not like a grind; it's more it's accurate ranking
It
rather than.
sounds like they're trying to basically make the sort of league system from games. Like they're making it look like the Halo 2 progression system where you beat people of your level or higher and you gain EXP or a lot of EXP. But in the like behind the scenes, it's actually going to be like an ELO or true skill sort of system.
Yeah,
And so you'll get catapulted ahead faster and you'll gain like bonus EXP. I
what we
think it's
haven't been.
basically going to be a league system without promotional series.
Yeah, what we haven't been told though is how the social matchmaking is going to work. The unranked, like with Halo 3, it was basically a looser version of the ranked playlist, as in it could search to any skill level, but it would still try to match you somewhat closely,
Yeah.
even if it wasn't always successful. But we don't know whether 343 are going to just have unranked be completely unranked and just let it search anybody from the very beginning rather than looking for a close match first, or if it will try to skill match first before widening the search parameters out to the general population.
I think they're going to try and make it like Halo 3's, where it does do that initial skill search, because they want Halo to be played the way it's meant to be played. I think Quinn Del Hoyo tweeted out that he really wants to see that it would match you by people around your skill level, even in the unranked playlists, rather than trying to just have it free for all, kind of like COD, just anyone's in the game.
I agree with that approach. I know some people don't, but I think it's better overall at player retention. Like nobody likes it if they're just starting out of the game and then they get that one guy in the game who's dropping 30 to 60 kills anywhere in between and nobody can touch him.
Yeah, hopefully even in the social, obviously in the ranked, but hopefully in the social as well, you'll get, everyone will be roughly around the same skill level as far as like kills and deaths go, so you won't have to carry, but I guess that depends if you're searching solo. And here's a question I actually wrote down and somehow I lost everything when I had to restart my computer. Thanks, awesome computer. We don't know enough about the matchmaking system as far as like, will it be party versus party for 4v4?
That's a good question.
Will you only match 4v4 like, for example, Halo 3 ranked Team Slayer, or will it be something similar to Halo 4, where it would kind of look for 4v4, but if that wasn't available, it'll just throw in whatever it can, just to get you a game, And we don't know anything about that, whether it's social or ranked.
Yeah, at some point, I feel like it has to. The ideal scenario would be for it to be like a mix of the two. It should spend quite a few minutes at least looking to try to get you another party to play against. But if it can't after say 2-3 minutes, then it should just match you with anybody, because the worst thing is searching a playlist in a party and just not being able to find matches at all.
But I agree, but at the same time, like, I don't feel like that's really going to be an issue with this, because with the population we're probably going to see in this game within the first month, every playlist should be like just flooded with people.
Well, yeah, but what about when the population goes down? You still have to have a contingency already prepared.
Yeah, and
never go down.
The more hardcore playlists are going to be obviously going to have a lower population, because they always do. Anything without radar, for example.
Yeah.
And when
anything objective.
When the inevitable Halo 1 2v2 playlist comes out, I think a lot of people will find that a very rough experience. I'm not sure how well it'll retain players. But I guess that's all to be seen.
So you make it so Halo 1 2v2s you can only match other parties of 2, or
I think that should be the case for all 2v2,
yeah.
or at least it should try to match you with another another party of 2 for a longer period of time than it does just looking for random players, because it's easier to find 2 random players than it is to find 4 or 8 random players. I think that the smaller the team size, the longer it should look trying to match you with a full team.
And I mean, obviously, in the social aspect, it definitely should look for party size, but it should also just go for quick. When you play
Yeah.
social, it's just going to throw you together and just kind of hope for a close match. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter as much.
I agree.
Like Call of Duty, if I want to play Ground War, even though it's like 8 versus 8 or
It's
even
9
more,
versus
9
9.
on 9, right? Yeah. Then I can find a match pretty much instantly as soon as I hit search. And that's part of the fun. You don't have to sit there
That
waiting in some boring blue lobby for minutes. You're just in the game.
that's one thing. They have removed join in progress from all games in the Master Chief
All
Collection.
game, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. No more join in progress in Halo 4 if you choose to play Halo 4. Or
Oh, why not? I just loved Join in Progress. It was the best thing they'd included. Like if one of my teammates bitched out and quit, I could get an equally useless teammate to replace him.
yeah, after 6 minutes have passed and the game's about to end, he joins in with like 3 kills left.
Don't get me wrong. I was never a fan of it, but I do think it could have worked if it would have been implemented right and it had the right restrictions. But it only had that at the very end of the game.
I like the
never had it at
concept,
the beginning.
but I feel like it would work best if it was implemented alongside punishments for quitting, so quitting wasn't seen as something that you should do if you didn't like the game. But like for example, if you couldn't start another game until the one that you quit finished. Okay, Bob's advertising Red Bull on stream.
Then let me throw out an advertisement for Planet Dry Roasted Peanuts.
Uh,
Because I'm
Yeah.
going to be planting some bombs.
I hope that there are decent quit penalties in the Master Chief Collection because
well, they
Halo
said it's
4
going to
was
affect
pretty bad.
They said it's going to affect your rank pretty bad. So, like you said, it works by EXP hidden within the rank. So by quitting, you're going to minus those EXPs. So it's going to be
Mhm.
it's going to take longer to get that rank by quitting.
Yeah, I agree with Funzbob. It definitely, Join in Progress definitely needed some restrictions and I think it should be in. It
should at
adds
least
to
be
the
in social.
experience. Okay, social for sure. I would say I think the proving grounds or throwdown restrictions were in the first minute or within 5 kills or something like that was the restriction. It was super strict, and that wasn't half bad most of the time. But no, even if you did join a losing team, it sucks because you're on a losing team. You started on a deficit while you're playing for your rank in a very try-hard playlist. The only thing that I don't like about Join in Progress is if it can affect your rank and you join on a losing team, because that's just not fair. I feel like if there should be like an option that if you join in progress, like you can choose that I don't want to have this affect my rank and join in progress. So you can go in and help teams that got screwed over by faulty connection or had some kind of bitchy, whiny teammate that ended up quitting out because he went 0-3 off the start of the game. I just feel like the ultimate punishment is worrying about your rank.
Yeah, the opposite to that is, of course, if you join on the winning team and it's a fairly significant lead, then that should equally not count towards your win as well, because you haven't really contributed as much. You haven't earned it all the way.
Yeah, I would say it Join in Progress, no matter what, it doesn't affect your rank. I would have no problem with that. And there should still be restrictions within like the score of the game and how long the game's been going, different things like that, the ranks of the players. All that stuff needs to be tallied up. And there could be a better solution than just not having it in there, because as soon as someone joins or leaves a match, that match no longer has that full Halo experience. But if you can get a new player in there, it can bring the experience back, and you actually have full-on Halo, actual game being played.
What if instead of random players being able to join in a game in progress, if the players inside the game, if their team goes down a player, they can invite someone off their friends list?
Yeah.
Only off the friends list, so they can't just invite recent players or.
Yeah.
Essentially,
I would want to invite recent players anyway. He sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I actually had that happen in Halo 4, where one of my teammates lagged out or whatever. We ended up inviting one of the people on my friends list, and we ended up winning the game. But I mean, I think off the start of the game, not that it matters because we're not going to see it in the next game. anyways, but it should have been a toggle option. Like, why not give players the option to have toggles? Like, assassination should have all been toggled. Sure, they're cool, but at the end of the day, I get killed from accidentally smashing that bumper. 9 times out of 10 because I'm retarded. So, why not give people the options to toggle pretty much everything, especially filters in matchmaking? Like, who doesn't want to, choose?
Oh, you like preference for good connection? Closer
Yeah,
skill
like we
rank.
didn't have those in Halo 4, and that was yeah, exactly, PGC, or you've got skill. Not that would have ever mattered in Halo 4, but just preferences for search times and stuff like that.
I was gonna say another thing for join in progress. I was playing Team Objective in Halo 4 the past few weeks, and one of my moderators had his entire team quit, and I'm searching with a friend. It might have been you, Funzbob, and we're joining in. We get put into my moderator's game on his team, and we make this comeback happen. And it was like the coolest thing ever to be able to help a guy who was sitting there. He was the last guy left. Everyone on his team quit.
Oh yeah, that was
He's
right.
having a shitty time playing Halo. And then he gets a full team back, and he doesn't have to sit there throughout the entire match just getting spawn killed by someone who wants to stat or just run over really quickly. He got the help that he needed, and he ended up winning the game because Join in Progress helped him out. So it shouldn't just be immediately removed like it was for Master Chief Collection, if you ask me.
That said, I think it's better gone than in if it's not working properly. Like if it's not intelligent enough to know when and where it's going to be useful and when and where it's not going to be useful, we're better off without it.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Here's a question: does anyone know how the voting system is going to work? Have we seen anything? Have we heard anything? I haven't really.
Yes, I believe this could be outdated though because it was way back. But I'm pretty sure it's the standard sort of Halo Reach, Halo 4 voting system.
Yeah.
Because there are options in the playlists, and
yeah,
so you pick the game type and game that you want. Whichever one gets the most votes goes in. Presumably, top of the list is tiebreaker.
Yeah, it's a voting system, not a veto system, from what I've heard.
Okay.
It's kind of a bummer. They have their trade-offs. It's like Halo 4, we had voting. You only got Haven, Haven 4, pretty much, and it just repeats the maps and game types over and over for what noobs are familiar with, new players are familiar with. And you don't get that map variety.
I read a thing where people, obviously, between 1, 2, 3, and 4, there's a huge difference between the two, or it's 4.
4.
Yeah, and people who are searching for, let's say they're searching the Slayer game, Slayer playlist that has all 4 in it, and they end up with Halo 3, but they wanted Halo 2, like they're gonna be pissed, and they might quit out, just because they didn't.
I'm especially concerned about that in the Team Hardcore playlist, where it's either Halo 2, MLG, or something.
Yeah, that's actually what I was getting to, was because on the Beyond forums, this was a huge topic where people are like, I strictly want to play, the hardcore playlist for Halo 2, and if people pick Halo 3, I'm really pissed. And I'm like, dude, people are going to pick what they're going to pick, and you're just going to have to play it. I wonder if it's still going to go back to the farthest map, game type, whatever it is on the left, like we've seen with Reach and Halo 4, which I think is deeply flawed, but whatever. Or if they're going to somehow neutralize that to where it'll just go random if it's, a tie, per se.
If it's a tie, I feel like it should either bring up a new set of options, or it should just immediately pick a random one that wasn't the tied game type.
That wasn't.
Why would you give one of the ones that wasn't chosen? That would just piss people off.
I would say like a coin toss between the ties.
Well, because the tie is going to be two different game types, right? So, and both teams want to play it. So whichever team wins that is going to feel like the other team's going to feel like the system chose to favor their opponents. So it should just randomize from the remaining.
So rather than make some players happy, make none of the players happy. Yeah.
You voted Halo 2.
Halo Congratulations, Jonathan. You've been elected leader of the Republican Party.
Yeah, I feel like I said, I feel like that could be an issue amongst especially the more like hardcore like MLG savvy people. As far as like BTB is concerned, obviously we are going to have a preference, but I feel like overall that's not going to affect us as much. And we still don't know that much about the, for example, the esports playlist. We're going to assume that it's H2A just because that's the tournament that they're playing in the upcoming week, and that's what 343 obviously wants to push towards the fans, and I get it.
Well,
And it's
I have a theory about that, but I could be wrong. I mean, H2A sounds reasonable, but I have a feeling that these playlists can be changed pretty quickly, right? So if we look at several tournament organizers and say that the higher quality, more professional of them with the bigger prize pools are considered major tournaments, then the esports playlist could be changed ahead of each major tournament to reflect whatever game and settings that particular tournament is choosing to run as its main game.
yeah, agreed. But is it going to be running? Like our 343 going to be putting on these tournaments to where that's what, because like they want to put developer support, and they want to put they want to move this forward. I'm not very good, but they hired that guy who does all the MLG stuff. Really retarded. I'm sorry.
Lennox.
Yeah,
There we go, that guy.
Oh,
Like I would assume they're going to hire him to help push the H2A tournaments kind of on a bigger spectrum.
Yeah, he did the video production.
yeah,
Yeah, he
Linux
does
is
video and
yeah.
stream production for those events. I talked
Yeah.
to him a little at PAX.
He was credited
Cool.
in that documentary that just came out, actually.
He was
I was gonna
also
say,
the
is it-
one. He was the one that when back in the Halo 3 days, they would upload individual POVs on MLG. He was the one that would capture those and upload those. He had the most boring job, but man, I
He did
love him for
He
doing
did
that.
it
I
well, though.
wish they hadn't abandoned that.
Lennox, he's like, when they hired him, I was like, dude, 343 is about to start hosting their own tournaments, or they're
Yeah.
going to be pushing that competitive side.
And
Yeah.
then they partnered with
Making
ESL
streams for
for
it.
Gamescom and PAX, and those
Yeah,
were great,
they've
great
partnered
events.
up with ESL for those tournaments because I don't think they're ready to do it completely on their own just yet. But I think they're going to be moving towards that maybe for Halo 5 Guardians. But for Master Chief Collection, I think they're going to be staying with ESL for this year,
Well,
working with them closely.
I'm pretty sure that Halo 5 is going to have a spectator mode. It really has to keep up with everything else at this point.
Oh, it has to.
Yeah. And ESL is a good partner for Halo, especially because it has more of an international reach, which Halo by itself doesn't really have a great deal of. So I think ESL was probably the best partner they could have gone with.
ESL is also who Riot Games partnered with for the European scene for LCS the first season, like season
There we
3.
go.
When they did the LCS season, they used ESL Studios to host the European LCS. Meanwhile, they had their own studios in Santa Monica for the North American scene.
Yeah.
Didn't 343 just send someone over there because they just started selling Xboxes in Japan, correct?
China.
Walshy's doing an
Walshy's on
MCC
tour.
tour.
He did that with Halo 4 and Halo Reach as well. Or
Yeah, he's doing the
I
Asian
think he did it
tour.
with Reach. I know he did it with 4.
But that's from 343 as far as like that's concerned.
It's from Microsoft, not necessarily
Oh,
343.
okay.
But I mean, 343 is Microsoft, but Microsoft isn't 343.
They
Yeah,
had a
just-
huge. They did do like a big launch night, like you would see in Times Square for a console, in Hong Kong, I think, or Beijing, one of the two, and it was a huge event where they started just selling consoles like mad.
Imagine if Halo got popular in South Korea.
Yeah, because they just released
shooters.
they just released a MCC bundle in Japan, I believe.
Yeah, they have one of those bundles out there.
Jonathan,
Ben-
you know they had a South Korean qualifier for Call of Duty for the Call of Duty
Yeah,
World
I remember
Championships.
the team
And
that came out of that wasn't very good.
There were no teams that signed up for that qualifier. A team got sent by default from South Korea. They had literally 0 teams in South Korea sign up for the tournament.
They're like, "What is this? We don't know what this is."
Well, it's because the PC is so much more popular over there, isn't it? Due to the prevalence of internet cafes and such. I mean, it makes sense.
All right, what's next? What do we got next?
Do you want to talk about Forge?
Somebody said, oh, never mind.
Or do you want to save that for later?
Save it.
Okay.
What are people gonna? Well, I don't know. I just don't like. I mean, I guess it depends on what spectrum you're like, as far as like MLG is concerned.
We
like,
can forge big team maps now. They actually have the ability to place terrain. It's fucking fantastic.
I remember reading somewhere someone's like, "I'm gonna remake Standoff," and I'm like, "Why would you remake it? We already have it. Like, it's perfect."
Because
Because
H2A. It's H2A's forge mode.
Yeah. Okay. So
That
I guess
forge mode is not available for Halo 3, which will only have Foundry and Sandbox for forging. While I'm looking really forward to H2A's forge.
I
Like,
still
Those
I still
those
agree with Bob.
skybox maps.
I don't want to do any remakes off the bat because people get too attached to them too easily, and then
Yeah,
it just stops any original content coming through. We have a new game with almost a blank canvas of maps. We have only 2 BTB maps in Halo 2 Anniversary, and we have a forge with 3 canvases that can literally let us make complete big team maps.
But
Why would we not try to make
But
brand new
it's-
maps that suit the game as best as possible?
but it's standoff, Matclan.
And I say that standoff is highly overrated and not at all
what?
an ideal competitive map. Because
See this delusional guy over here?
it relies far too much on Halo 3's laser, bad BR, and heavily armored vehicles to work. If you dismantle any of those 3 elements, it's not going to work the way. It's not going to play anywhere near as well as people like it now. I'm trying to say that without telling people that they're just wrong.
but it's standoff.
Yeah, you need to be making new maps. If I see another midship circular map in competitive play for 4v4s, I'm gonna lose my mind. If we,
you know the UK players have started paying Forgers to do that ahead of time. They've literally started trying to hire Forgers to remake midship for them for Halo 2 Anniversary.
I mean, I believe it.
it's a mistake.
The Halo scene over here has no idea, literally no idea, because the game only really got popular with Halo 3. So many of the players have no experience with Halo 2 or Halo 1. So you show them a power-up or power weapon timer faster than 2 minutes, and it's like, what the hell? Halo isn't it? I've literally seen a quote on a forum from someone who said Halo has never had a timer faster than 2 minutes.
Let me go grab some of those derelict 60-second rockets, even though it's supposed
30
to be a
second rockets.
30 second. It was supposed to be a flamethrower, but
yeah, they didn't change the timer.
That's one thing I wanted to, like, I was thinking about this the other day. Like, so many people nowadays that play Halo 3 online or Halo 4 or even Reach that are going to be moving to MCC. I don't think people realize how badly everyone's going to get destroyed the first, like, week. Like, I know the first time I go into, like, Halo 1, whether it be 4v4 or whatever, I'm going to get raped by people who've been playing Halo 1 for the last 10 years. Like, it's just going to happen.
Ogre 2 has not stopped playing Halo CE since, like, back in the day. He still does lands for it, like,
that's what there's
several
still
times a
that,
year.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know the timers for that. Or, like, for example, Halo 2, like, all the people that played Halo 2 Vista, you know, they're going to maybe be moving on. And although it might be a little different, like, if you haven't played Halo 2 since, you know, back in the day, like, it's going to be a rude awakening across all games for a massive.
Why the fuck are there ammo packs everywhere?
Yeah. Well, and then you have, you know, and then you have all the people, like, for example, Formal and all those people who left Halo, you know, for the last couple of years. All of them are obviously coming back. So you're going to be seeing all these people who, you know, we've never, you know, people have never played against, having to play against them. And it's just going to be like a rude awakening across every game. Like, whether it's esports or 4v4 or hardcore, even BTB. Like, think of all the H2 teams that used to run skirmish. Like, they're probably coming back. Like, that's going to be, you know, pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I played H2 BTB back in the day.
Get some
I feel like everyone's going
waterworks.
to get stomped.
I think specifically Formal, I don't think he's going to be coming back. He's had some serious success in the COD scene, but all the other pros that just fell
Well, I was
off.
gonna say, as of today, he's no longer on Envy, which was a salaried team. So
Yeah.
his financial situation just went from rock solid to up in the air after.
That's okay.
the
He's
whole-
got all that e-girl pussy to slay.
I had to unfollow that kid. He's a bit crazy. But
He used to be terrible. I don't think he's that bad now. Maybe that was because he was with a sponsored organization, so he
What
told
is
it
going
down.
on with our chat in Doritos right now?
Don't
don't know,
ever
I-
acknowledge Twitch chat. Rule number 1.
Yeah,
I can't see the
so-
chat. I've only got Skype up. If I open anything else, it'll kill my computer.
Yeah, I have it on my Xbox One on my 71-inch TV or whatever. So here's something I wanted to talk about was again back to the screenshot where BTB was ranked and then now is potentially social.
Oh yeah.
I feel like you said that's a good thing because it will allow people to like kind of go in and maybe make finding games faster.
Well, actually, my opinion on why it's a good thing is it's because the BTB playlist includes all 5 games in the collection, and I think ranking anything with that many games is just going to be a clusterfuck.
Yeah, but they have 4v4 playlists that do all 5 games, and they're
And
the
that's right.
same
Well,
style.
I believe the same should apply to those, but I mean, feel like the differences are a little bit more. At the extremes of 2v2 and 8v8, the differences are more pronounced between the games. 4v4 is a bit more in the middle, whereas you have a lot more to consider at the spectrum at the end of the spectrum. And with BTB especially, you're looking at different vehicle health systems, different weapon sandboxes where sometimes the rockets might lock on, sometimes they might not lock on, or they'll have a different type of lock on.
Why is there BTB in Halo 1 CE, whatever?
All the PC maps, which were mostly BTB, are ported over, so it's there.
Yeah.
And
And-
honestly, from what I saw on the IGN stream, it looks kind of fun. I kind of want to try it out.
Yeah, but these are IGN people.
Yeah.
The gameplay itself was terrible, but the
I-
maps.
I
pretty
watched
fun.
that
Exactly.
video. I watched that video of
The
BTB map.
gameplay on those videos was just painful. I
Eight
really wish they'd get
people
to
that
view
know
it.
what they're doing with the pistols will not be fun.
No.
Well, it will
You're
be
gonna
if the
take
team
one
also
step
knows-
out and you're gone. If you try and make a push, it's just 3 pistol shots from any
It's going to be
8 people on the
Avalanche
other
Slayer
team.
on
Yeah.
Sidewinder, Avalanche
Yeah.
Slayer on Blood Gulch, and Avalanche Slayer on whatever Longshores or Timberland, Timberwolf. I don't know.
I don't know. I think until we actually try it, we can't really say for sure. Because I mean, weapons work both ways, right?
That
Yeah.
doesn't
If
make
you
them
can-
more
if you can
like
get
if
shot,
you
you
die
can
in
shoot
3
back.
shots from someone, you're not going to want to move.
If you get if
Team
somebody
shot death.
if someone
Yeah.
can 3-shot you in Halo 1 across the map consistently, that person is a god.
It's not. I'm not talking about specifically one person. There's 8 people with
Yeah, there's
pistols.
8 people.
If you move anywhere, if 2 of them have a sight line on you, you're dead in less than half a second.
Well, and then here's something about that is these are all PC maps. I never played that PC version. So like I'm gonna be playing on 8v8 maps in Halo 1 that I've never seen in my entire life.
Right, that's
That
why I
is-
think it's going to be interesting. I mean, I'm not recommending that we pick it up as our like mainline BTB net game or whatever, but maybe a one-off event or exhibition would be fun at the very least. I mean, it will be something new for most people, right?
It'll be fun like everyone playing against the Frenchies on Hog's Den.
No. Speaking of which, dedicated servers. You never have to play the French again.
I was gonna say, do we know? I heard that in Titanfall you can actually select your server. Is that correct?
Yes, the way Titanfall works is you can, on the main menu screen, you can press X, it brings up a list of all the servers, tells you where they are and what your ping is to them.
Yeah.
You pick a server, and then if you create a party after that, whoever's party leader is in control of the server, whatever they selected at the main menu is the server you'll
Okay.
play on.
So do we know anything about that for the Halo, or is it just going to be kind of maybe best between the two?
They haven't said anything
Yeah.
like how they're doing the servers yet, but based on the fact that Titanfall used Microsoft's new server system,
Okay.
which was designed in part to work with the Xbox Live system, I'm hoping that it's a similar case. Oh, and Titanfall also applied these dedicated servers to custom games,
Oh, that's another question. I actually,
which
had brought up.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping is the case for Halo. That would solve
Yeah.
so many problems. If not, I hope that they're smarter about the host system this time and just simply give it to the party leader so that it's easier to
So they can decide who gets it and who doesn't.
yeah, because with
Yeah.
customs we all know your host record, whilst useful for matchmaking, are no
Yeah.
longer relevant.
I would assume customs are on Dedis as well. Anyway,
I would
Yeah.
Someone-
hope so.
because
Yeah, it hasn't been confirmed either way, yes or no. They've always kind of like been like, oh, we'll discuss that later on.
But
You
with
know.
deadies for our matches and scrims and stuff, it would especially be good because you could just pick the server that's most like neutral to the majority of the players in the game,
Just
and
pick
that's as fair
whatever
as
the
it's gonna
St.
get.
Louis area server is for every tournament event.
Well, no, you could adjust the server based on which teams are playing. I mean, if it's two West Coast teams playing, pick the server in between, like that's as closer to the middle of them. Whereas if it's a Western and East Coast, you want to pick a more central server so
But
everybody gets the same kind of lag.
what if
Do I
it's
have a
a?
server next to my house, please? Can I
It
have
won't
one there?
matter with the fucking potato you've got.
Oh, goddamn potato. Ugh. It's not my fault. I can't get FiOS. They don't have it.
Yeah,
Not
the
available.
servers are pretty good, I think. I mean, the US East server on Titanfall, I ping about 90 to 100 on, which is that's not really noticeable lag for Titanfall.
That's what I pinged to fucking League of Legends servers. Like I never go below 100. It's retarded.
Well, that's good. But whereas if I try to go to Canada, for example, it's like 224, and that's pretty noticeable lag. And I know there are some people who say anything below 30 sucks, but you guys never. Those people don't play internationally, so.
Anything above 30 sucks for shooters.
I heard that with Destiny, people, for example, who live in Australia or the UK can't play a lot, or something to do with the servers. They can't connect to them that well. Is that true? Or
I've had little to no problems with it. I mean, I've occasionally seen lag spikes where people teleport a little bit, but
yeah,
that happens to everybody at the same time. It's not.
That's normal for Bungie games.
Yeah, I just put that down to Bungie being Bungie. And as far as Australia goes, they've only just the Microsoft servers there have only just opened in the last couple of weeks or so.
okay.
So the Australians were having to actually play on other servers, which, of course,
That sucks.
sucks for them and kind of sucks for anybody who matches the guy who's teleporting all over the place.
Yeah. No more like here's something I wanted to bring up. So with the Halo 2 ranking system and everything, do you feel part of the reason it was so difficult to get a 50 in Halo 2 was because of the amount of cheating?
Yes.
Or do you feel it was just because of, how difficult the game was? And in this game, do you think having dedicated servers will completely stop cheating, and will that make the 50s more accessible along with, like you said, I know they've kind of tweaked the H2 ranking system, you said, a little bit just to make it a little more
they're making
fluid.
it faster, so it's like less of a
Yeah.
grind. So yes to all of the above.
Okay, yeah. So
I
Halo
don't think it'll
50s
completely get rid of cheating because cheaters will always find a way to cheat. Like
Yeah, like
even in
GameStage was just saying now that even though there's dedicated servers, if they know your Skype or whatever, they can pull your IP from that.
the
well,
best way to go about
if
that.
you have the latest Skype version, you can hide your IP from Skype.
What?
Genius.
You
Yeah.
go into
That's true.
options and there's a thing to hide your
And
IP.
right now, everyone's changing their options right now.
Dude, I am.
That was a huge problem in League of Legends for a while. Is people like in the challenger scene were getting DDoS during their tournament matches, and they were being unable to move up in ranks because of it.
Huh.
Somebody's always got to spoil the fun.
DDoSing is still going to be the biggest threat out of all of it, because if somebody can find your IP somewhere, they will hit you offline if they don't like you or have a reason not to like you.
Yeah,
That's
it makes me
great.
wonder about that.
Sad fact.
I say, like back in that Halo 3 tournament we played a couple months ago, I remember like myself and Cloud got booted off. Someone was hitting Cloud almost constantly, and we have ideas of who it was, but nothing concrete. I don't think it was anybody on the other team or anything. It was just somebody who had issues at the time, and it's very disappointing that that's going to be a possibility still, even with dedicated servers. If that person knows your IP address, there's not much you can do other than either changing the IP or
Yes.
going through a proxy, I guess.
Someone brought up in the chat the button glitches for H2. They said the button glitches are still cheating. I'm pretty sure they were trolling, but that's something where.
Bungie's stance on them was they're cheating. 343 stance is they were part of the game and we're including them to make
Of
it
course.
as close to the game as possible. So
Yeah.
I've actually heard talk that they're possibly going to include tutorials for the button glitches so that everybody at least knows what they're getting into.
Yeah.
Like tutorials or explanations, probably in the tooltips or something.
Oh,
So
man.
I guess the claim that glitches are cheating is off the table. Although I would say super bounces if anybody figures out how to do them with the new like with the pixel difference.
Yeah, the pixels have kind of moved around a bit. They said they're still possible, but they're much harder to find or to
Yeah,
get.
Yeah, I've
like
been
they're
trying
slightly
to do
different.
them on Vista at like 1080p, and it's harder to get those bounces right.
Yeah, well, I think super bounces, I'd call it cheating. I mean, I know technically in the matchmaking environment, there's nothing you can do about it.
It's part of the
But
game,
but
man.
if I ever saw anybody do it in a custom game, I would.
The Zanzibar one was the only one I never really cared about. Like it was so
Oh, in the
mainstream.
glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, on
But
top
like
of the roof.
the ones on Headlong and Ascension were retarded because you could get on top of the big tower and on top of the buildings in Headlong.
Couldn't you do that with a Banshee anyway?
No,
No,
they took the Banshee out of Headlong anyway.
Oh, so did you guys see the gold banshee in
The
the
Heretic
yeah.
Banshee
Heretic.
and the Forge.
Heretic,
Yeah,
yeah.
so is
Heretic.
that only Forge, or is that also going to be potentially in matchmaking?
It'll probably be in matchmaking. One base will have the purple, and the other one will have
They'll
the
probably throw
Heretic.
it on one of their Forge maps
Well,
that
it
they
Yeah.
just
depends.
shove down our throats.
Like we don't. I don't think it's actually just skins for vehicles. I think it's classed as a different vehicle entirely, like how, like in the Forge menu. So we don't know if there might actually be some differences between the two Banshees, like either in the flying style or the weaponry they hold. I mean, maybe it won't, and it's essentially just a reskin, but maybe it's actually its own vehicle.
Yeah.
One of the many things I'm looking forward to finding out when I actually get the game and jump into Forge.
One of the things I actually didn't like was on the map with the EMP towers or whatever.
Yeah, Bloodline.
The Bloodline, when they showed that, it actually EMPs your own teammates' vehicles, which I think is kind of ridiculous.
Well,
Sacrifice.
I think it's meant to be used as like a last ditch attempt to regain control if you're getting completely slapped and spawn killed, which I understand, but I think it's a very heavy-handed way of doing it, and I don't know.
You
think it's
guys, I got
cool.
this great idea. We're gonna make this tower on top of the base, right? And if you hold like your X button long enough, it's gonna send out this huge EMP wave, and it'll disable all the vehicles.
But man, what about your teammates?
It's a
Nah,
neat.
it'll be fine. It'll be for like when you don't have any vehicles left alive and you got like a tank just blowing up your base. It'll stop that. You can run out and get shot by his teammates that are also watching your base. Shit, I didn't think this through.
Yeah, I didn't like how it EMP'd your own team's vehicles. I feel like that's kind of like, I mean, maybe it can be fixed in settings. I don't know.
Oh, it's a Forge item. The scripting for the EMP is a Forge setting. I think it would, like the EMP tower would be better suited on like an asymmetrical map as a sort of neutral power position, so that rather than being on a base where it's going to hit friendly and foe alike, in a neutral position, that's something that you've got to. That becomes more of a consideration to using it, and it becomes something to like worth controlling on the map to fight over. You know, just an idea.
I think it's a little too excessive for controlling your or getting your base back. If you ask me,
I agree.
I mean, nuking your entire
it's like a
everyone
self-destruct button.
just because you got your ass handed to you the first time, it doesn't mean you should get a free pass to disable them and then nade them to plasma nade them down just because they're killing you in your base because they punished you in the midfield. You know, it's kind of ridiculous.
It's definitely something I'd remove for competitive BTB. Like I'd just go in and take those towers out. Because the actual base redesigns themselves, I quite like. Did you see
They put the Hornet on there. I like the idea of the Hornet.
Yeah, as long as the rockets aren't as ridiculous as they were in Halo 3, where they'd lock on and nuke anything.
I'm just glad it's not
Hornet.
the Avalanche Hornet. That thing was boring to fly. It was good. I liked using it, but it was boring.
I was gonna say I enjoyed the Avalanche Hornet. But
I'm glad this one actually has some firepower where you can grow some balls and go.
My favorite thing on Avalanche was definitely bringing the Hornet in just behind the push to pick up the flag carrier, either the portal or the man cannon, and then just fly him back home. It was just, I don't know. I guess it was like a hog run with the flag, but in the air. And it just felt cool because of that.
So do you think I mean, I realize there's no EXP per playlist or anything like that now, but I mean, I know that we're gonna have featured playlists coming back. Obviously, SWAT is the first one.
Yeah.
They stated that they're gonna start out really short, like for the amount of time they're there, and then as
Probably
they
just
become more
weekends
popular,
or weeks.
they're gonna stay for longer. Do you feel that, let's say we don't have a ranked BTB day one, which will really make me sad, and maybe cry a little tear? Do you think we'll possibly see that in the long run, or would we see a Slayer or objective or a mix?
I want to say
Your
we'll see
thoughts?
one, but given how many options there are for BTB, I don't like. I don't want to say one if it's still a mash of 5 games. If it's just Halo 2 and Halo 2 Anniversary, so like both the games 8 scan,
And Halo 3
similar.
maybe. Like you can even wiggle Halo 3 in there because it had the best maps and gameplay per map. As far as like competitive goes.
I don't know.
I know it's hard to say.
Realistically,
Like
for a
I
ranked
like
BTB
Halo 2
playlist,
better, but
I'd like to see maps and game types that we can stick on for BTB net, and
But-
hopefully try again to get that implemented in the matchmaking experience somewhere as a ranked BTB experience. I think that would be a great thing for the community if we could get that.
Yeah. What about squad? Do you think I mean, let's say they don't bring in a ranked BTB, which I honestly don't see that happening, but like maybe a squad battle would suffice.
I don't know.
Brick Squad.
This is part of the problem of having too many options in a way. It's like there's so much stuff that you could do.
Well, I know.
And
Yeah, you have to
You
be
just
careful
gotta
not to
pick one
splinter the
and go with
entire.
it, you know? Just pick the best, what you think is the best one, and stick to it. I feel like if you do changing up too many options, you're gonna start having an identity crisis that a lot of people complained about in Halo 4.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like, like for example, they don't even have a Griff Ball, but obviously they don't have a Zombies playlist, which I'm fine with. But I'm sure we'll see all of those over time.
Yeah, I'm sure those will be the rotational ones. I mean, with Griffball, it makes sense as well because the Griffball community will want to make their own settings off the bat. I assume they'll want to use Halo 2 Anniversary because, I mean, with Griffball, there's in terms of a weapon sandbox anyway, there's less to consider than for standard gameplay. I mean, there's all that other stuff such as ball throwing that we saw in Halo 4.
Oh God!
Some may like, some may not like, understandably.
Did we get? Is that in H2A? The ball throwing?
Don't know yet.
I remember seeing
It's
a
going to
video.
be an option.
There was a clip.
Dear God, please no.
There was a clip where the announcer said it when a ball got dropped as the guy died, and it looked like he might have tried to throw it.
Oh yeah, on the Wizard Oddball.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure.
Gameplays,
like
he
those are all old builds. We don't know. We can't like take any of that footage and say for sure that is going to be in the final game, because when demoing games like that, you often take a build that's a month or more old, so that you at least know you've got a stable build, because the most recent stuff's probably not stable to run on retail Xboxes.
I know at PAX they didn't do Oddball because they were having issues with the throwing still. They said that it was still in. That's why it wasn't an option for the tournament game type C.
It's not an option for this release tournament either. Like, they're not playing Oddball, and I wonder if that's because throwing is in, or if it's just an unconscious choice to not play Oddball.
Yeah,
because Oddball and Lockout would have been pretty.
Well,
sweet.
you have to keep in mind, Ghost Yame is the one doing the settings for this stuff, and he is known as Fumble Yame, so maybe he just threw the ball off the map too many times. He's like, fuck it, we're getting rid of this game type.
Fair enough. I'm also disappointed with the this launch tournament, actually, that they've got rid of Zenith. I mean, I get that it's not the best competitive map ever, but I would have thought that King of the Hill, at least, would have been a decent game type for it in a tournament. And even Slayer was slow at Gamescom, but there were some great snipes and some great setups, and that mother of all comebacks.
Yeah, there was actually
really good
part of the tournament at PAX. It was an option, but no teams actually got that far into their series. Really, I think it was the game 5. I only got to play it once in a warm up actually, and
I'm so jealous. You got to play it, by the way. So jealous.
It was a
Yeah,
ton of
actually,
fun.
I've got questions for you after you finish talking.
Okay. The small tower, as we saw at Gamescom, is like insanely powerful. Once we were playing Darkest Hour in a warm up match, and they got the small tower spawn. They kind of ruined us for like a minute, 2 minutes, and then we activated the shield, made the strong push, grabbed it back, and we started making the most insane comeback, just like we saw the VWS squad try and do against TECM. And
I'll be right
it's
back.
not fair for the team that spawns on the Banshee platform. That's the only problem. If they would fix the starting spawn, I could see it as an actual viable Team Slayer match, because it took me a full 20 seconds for my Banshee platform spawn to get overshield, activate the center shield, and push to that sniper for the big tower snipe. It just was, they had it and they already moved back by the time I got there. So the fact that that small tower can grab both snipers and that power position isn't really fair. They needed to just adjust the starting spawn, and you'd see a more fair match for Team Slayer on Zenith.
I feel like, yeah, spawns are something that should probably be tweaked over time anyway, as like we learn what works and what doesn't work. Because there's almost always room for improvement in a spawn system. Yeah, Audley, I see you.
One thing they need to consider for asymmetrical maps that's never been tried in any of the competitive game types. Why not just have the power weapons that aren't like equal distant from the starting spots not spawn at the start? That's been an option since Halo 3 Forge. Why not try it? Like, I asked Ghostiyame at one point and specifically said in my question, don't say, well, that's just not how it was before. And his answer was, well,
That's
that's
not how it
just
was.
not how it was before. Like,
I saw
all
that
it
tweet.
takes to fix that major problem is don't have it spawn at the start. Have it where you have to go get it later.
I think the biggest argument against that would be that it's very disorienting the first time somebody plays a map if the weapons aren't already spawned in and they just appear midway through, like a couple of minutes or whatever into the game. I mean, it's something that you learn pretty quick, but I do know now from actually working in a game studio that developing
Players are
for the
stupid.
unbelievably, and I just work with simple mobile games where it's like a one-touch control, and wow, some of the things you question the intelligence
Doesn't
of
H2A have
people on a
like a little
device.
system where the weapon shows up if you're near it though?
Yes, if you're
It's
close
got
to
a
something
little
and looking at it, there's this
bullseye.
little like a little circle, and it's like lit up white if the weapon's there, and it's grayed out if the weapon's not there. So yeah, I could see spawning stuff not at the start could work, assuming that the little circle appears.
Yeah, see, there we go.
Of course, it
Uh,
doesn't tell you what the weapon is, but that's okay.
yeah,
And be like, hey,
the
there should
weapon
be something.
indicators were a little, I think, too much on the Halo 4 HUD. That's why they
Oh,
stopped it.
absolutely.
Like I took a picture. I just was gonna start up like a jumping around on Haven video one time, and I just had it sitting in the background one day. And the default Haven map has all those random weapons and ordinances that come in, like the untweaked that they had on
Oh
launch.
yeah.
And like 10 minutes later, just I couldn't see around the side of my screens. It was just everything. And then they're all flying around as you're turning. It was just really bad. So now having it only pop up when you're like near it, just a small circle, is really helpful.
I feel that they've almost got the like weapon system, like weapon spawn system, and how it informs itself to players right. What I would do is take those little icons we got from Halo 2 Anniversary and include the weapons timer on them. Like have like on the King of the Hill, how it has like a circle that like ticks down, or it did in one of the games. I can't remember which game. With I would do something like
I
that,
think it
and it
did
has
in
the
2 and
number. It's
3.
yeah, it had might have even been Halo 4 where it had it. Like you get in the hill, you look at the timer, and it's actually ticking down around like in a circle
Oh, yeah.
to when it moves. I would do that with the weapons and have them on like static timers like Halo 1 so that players can't just fudge the timers up and make it unfair for everybody. Just
Hmm.
keep it simple and
Job done.
to the point. Just don't cloud this really important system to the game in all these layers of bullshit that Bungie kept introducing. game after game after game.
We don't want people to be better than one another in our game, Matclan, because that makes people sad.
Uni, when did the weapon indicators in Halo 2 Anniversary, did they look different when the weapon was there versus when it was like not there or it was like waiting to spawn?
I didn't pay attention to weapons that weren't there really.
Yeah, but I'm just
Yeah,
wondering if it's like on the
Bob,
ground.
they do. If the weapon's not there, it's like kind of grayed out. The circle's still there, but
Okay.
it's not lit up. Whereas if the weapon is there, it's lit up white. So you can tell if there's something supposed to be there if you're looking for it, and it's not there. So look.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't really pay attention to guns that weren't there. Sorry, but
Yeah.
Matclan is saying that it's grayed out, so we're chilling.
I actually really like from the video I've seen of H2A and from the documentary, everyone saw the other day, like it looks ridiculous. Like Halo 3, 60 frames per second, 1080p looks ridiculously amazing. H2A looks like really good. Yeah, beyond excited, I guess would be the word for this.
The only thing that's really like it all looks good, but it's just so weird zoomed in sniping at 60 frames per second in Halo. It just was so weird the first couple times I picked up the sniper rifle. I had no idea because I'm used to that 30 frames per second, probably closer to 25 if you're playing on a forged map. But the 60 frames per second, it was just kind of weird. I'm sure you guys will feel it too the first time you pick it up, but it starts to feel really nice once you get used to it.
Yeah, I've never played anything at 60 frames because I've only ever played Halo, so I don't know what that even like. I have no idea what I'm in for.
It feels a lot smoother if it's running at 60. It's like you'll be able to feel and see the difference if you have your Xbox One and Xbox 360 near each other and you play, say, Halo 3 or Halo 4 at 60 frames a second, then jump in onto the 360 and play it back at 30, you'll feel the difference right away. I don't actually recommend playing Halo 3 or Halo 4.
We don't condone that kind of
BTB TV is not responsible for any brain damage caused by playing Halo 4.
Who won that tournament today, by the way? Just out of pure curiosity, and then I wanted to talk about the invitational tournament and maybe some speculation on.
Hold on.
Here, let me pull up the bracket.
What tournament today?
There was a Halo 3 tournament. I don't even think they're done.
Oh, I don't care.
Oh, really?
No, dude. They had a 30-something team turnout with double elimination, dude. Yeah, winners of it's right now it's the Dream Team with NYC and probably Turley, those Halo 3 kids. And then you've also got Prototypes team on there. So that's that team. They're in the winners finals right now, and losers finals are Golden Modem Squad, which is Severance. Yeah. No, APG already got knocked out. He was on Optic subbing in. It was Flamesword, Ace, APG, and Lethal, and they got taken out in losers semis.
I saw that. They got taken.
Yeah. So we just got losers finals versus winners finals right now. That tournament is still going on.
Okay. I think it was Audley that posted on the BTB forums, and the Beyond forums, and he was like, I feel like TMC isn't getting enough credit for how good they're gonna do, and I agree. I feel like they played
TCM.
TCM. Yeah, I'm sorry, TCM.
That was probably Matt.
Okay, yeah.
Me.
My bad. Yeah, they played the game.
I don't actually follow the European scene. I just know that based off of what I saw at PAX and Gamescom.
Yeah.
Especially Chalky. That guy snipes.
Yeah. They've already played, and other teams haven't played that are going to go. They already have that.
VWS played at PAX, right?
Yeah, most of those upper teams that people are going to say are going to do well are probably going to do well.
And the only difference on Optic is Strong Side being swapped out for Flamesword, which I thought Strong Side surprised me at PAX. I thought he'd been out of it for too long to really make some of the plays that he made, but he had a couple of games where he was just It looked like he was playing Halo 2 Classic
Yeah,
again.
he was going off. He went on a small tear against us on, I think it was Lockout King, and then he just
Mhm.
went off on some of the other pros.
And
I-
I noticed the amount of times he was picking up dual pistols as well and actually just shredding people with
Yeah.
those. It was surprising to watch. Like, I like Strongside. He seems like the kind of player who doesn't overlook something just because it doesn't fit his preconceived notions of being good. He'll pick something up and give it a go.
I think we got to go ahead and talk about Purple Rain, though.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
We got Gandhi, Puckett, Maven, and Legion.
No,
Like-
Puckett
No.
and Sundance aren't going anymore. It's now Gandhi,
Oh.
Elitist, Legion, and Maven.
Oh god, they picked up
Yeah.
Elitist?
Yeah.
Yeah, they picked up
Jesus
Elitist
Christ.
instead
Why
of
would they pick up
Puckett.
Sammy? God.
Because Gandhi just put an open thing out like, okay, who wants it?
Granted,
Yeah.
I will say this about Elitist. He is one of the best communicators in Halo.
In
But
the game, but out of the game, not so much.
he gets a little bit toxic.
Just a little bit.
He's a cool guy. I like him.
Yeah,
but
I don't think Purple Rain expects to win. I feel
I'm
like
sad Puckett backed out now.
Yeah.
Sundance was going to coach, but I'm guessing that didn't work out either. But
Yeah, they all-
I think Purple Rain
God,
isn't
dude.
expecting to win, but they're going to give it their best shot anyway.
Yeah,
I
they're-
can't
think
say-
Gandhi
can't say
said,
enough.
all I want is someone to rage and break a controller. That's my whole goal, basically.
Oh well, then Sammy's perfect.
Yeah. I don't think he meant on his own team, but I feel like
Well, if he can
It
get
still
sniped down to throw
qualifies.
another chair, everybody wins.
yeah. Yeah.
but
Who do you guys think's going to win?
Optic.
I'm leaning toward Optic. Like, Rob thinks Flame Sword's just gonna shit the bed, but I think it doesn't matter what Flame Sword does as long as Pistola and Snipe
I
down.
was going to say, you saw it
Okay.
at Columbus when Flamesword dropped that like -30 bomb and they still won that. It was Beaver King, right? Beaver Creek, King of the Hill.
Yeah, King of the Hill.
He was like feeling sick that day and played like crap and
Like,
Yeah.
what he brings to a
he's
team,
still-
it doesn't
no matter
matter what
what-
his scoreline is.
No matter
Yeah.
what, he's still like one of the best leaders and communicators you'll see on Halo. I don't know if you guys have turned onto his
He's
stream.
like Tots, but not hated.
Well, I don't know
not as
too
bad.
much about Tots being a good communicator and team captain.
Hey,
but
his teams would win despite him going neg 30 every game. Like he'd drop neg 200 for a tournament, his team would still finish top 3. He's
I'm
doing
saying
something.
Flame Sword contributes in a hell of a lot more ways than the scoreline shows. And if you've turned into his stream on MLG, he's been doing a lot because he's been getting even better at it because he's been walking through those Optic COD guys into Halo 3 MLG 50s. You know, he's been teaching them, helping them, communicating exactly what they need to do. And the fact that he's going to be supported by Pistola, Snipe Down, and Ace, who have all played this game before and know what to expect, they're going to be able to help him out. And
Pistola was freaking scary at PAX. Did you
it's
see?
gonna
Do
be
you remember that
ridiculous.
run where he had like, it was what, almost a running riot and two
Yeah,
hills
on-
by himself with just the sniper and sword. Just
Yeah.
At one point, he just danced around top middle to get his shields back. Like, how do you even do
Yeah.
that?
Yeah,
he was-
that kid, he's gonna do very well. I feel like Optic is gonna do good. Agency, I mean, definitely has a lot of potential to do well.
And I don't think you
Agency will
count-
depend on if Ninja can stay in good spirits or not, because Ninja is a head game, always will be a head game.
So you mean Purple Rain could beat
No,
Agency
I
if
think
they get
Purple
in
Rain
Ninja's head?
is as much as they're definitely probably getting last.
I think straight ripping isn't like looking too bad, except for having T squared on the team. They've got a good roster.
I say, Straight Ripping looks great on paper, but what has T-Squared been doing recently? And Roy hasn't been gaming recently, so
Well,
I
that's the
mean,
thing,
then
everyone's
again,
so-
he came
Roy's
out
gonna
and
pick up a controller and it won't matter.
I was gonna say he had that Halo 4 event where it was like his first time back on. He didn't practice or anything, just turned up and then drops like a 25 kill game
Yeah.
in the
Uh,
semifinals or something.
Roy just hopped on the Halo 4, wrecked everyone, and left, He didn't need to try that hard. And I think he'll do fine in Halo 2 anniversary for this tournament, but he might take a while to warm up, take longer to get going than other players. I haven't seen Ryanoob doing anything. And
Ryanoob's been amateur
T-Squared's
scene
been
for Dota 2.
okay. And
He
T-Squared is
was winning tournaments with whatever team he was
oh,
on.
he's winning
Dota 2.
in Dota 2? He's
Amateur scene, not
Oh,
like
okay.
pro scene, but he was getting a few $1,000s off Dota.
okay. Cool. And then
Respect.
T-Squared has been in jail for deserting the Halo community, I guess. And then he's now
He
back.
was working for GameSpot when they had their esports, but then On Gamers opened and he was just ghost.
Yeah. So, but T-Squared's back. He's been playing Halo 3 recently, so he won't be total rust, but he's still I question his ability to perform like Snipe Down and
I think
Jesus.
T-Squared hit like Diamond 3 or Diamond 2 in League of Legends this season.
Is that
Oh,
good?
he's decent at League?
Yeah, he plays a lot.
T-Square's going to fall apart as soon as somebody picks up a pair of needlers and points them in his direction.
Let's
did
see.
any of
I'm
you guys
sad
take-
Walshy didn't get to come.
I know.
He's coaching straight, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. Well, she's actually coaching straight.
Oh.
He's coaching T-Squared.
He didn't get in fast enough to be a player, but he's going to coach him.
Yeah. And let's go
I would have
through the
liked to. I would have liked to
rosters
have
if
seen
you guys-
Walshy commentate. Actually, I like it when he does that. He tends to be quite informative.
Yeah, I'd say he'd be a good like lead of an analyst desk, but I don't know about like commentating play-by-play, trying to be
Well, you're supposed to have a play-by-play caster and a color commentator paired together, where one of them actually knows what they're talking about, and the other one's Chris Puckett. I love Puckett.
Yeah.
but
you want to go through the teams?
yeah, if you guys don't mind going through the roster, we could break it down. I already said I think Optic is going to win. They've got the practice and just the power to do it. But STK is a lot
I
of
don't think you
people's
can count
favorite.
them out. I've got them down to at least make it to the finals.
It depends on how many games they get to play on Sanctuary, because otherwise Royal 2 is dead weight.
Dude, yeah, Royal 2 and
Seriously?
Snakebite are known to be reach kids. So
Yeah, but-
Snakebite is not a reach kid. Snakebite is legit.
did you see them playing the Vista scrims the other day?
I did
Sick.
watch
Last
some
I
of
heard
that.
last I heard they were up 4-3 against Agency.
Oh, they got smacked by Agency.
I thought they beat Agency
Well,
in the
well,
scrim.
there's also the consideration that Royal 2 is in Canada, right? So what he
Yeah,
does
I
online
feel
is
like-
not going to be the same as what he does.
But he's an online kid. He's always been known as an online kid.
Yeah, he's Canadian, dude. He's got the ping, But I feel like a team led by Ogre 2 could be deadly. You've got Hines on there who has played Halo 2 Anniversary, so he'll be able to try and coach them through most of
Isn't
that
Diesel-
basic stuff.
Is Diesel their coach for the event?
I think he might be.
Yes, I think he is.
Okay. I was pretty sure he left with Hines when they broke off of whoever they were with.
Yeah, so I feel like when you have Hines, who's always been a top-notch player, whether it's objective or support.
Yeah, Hines is kind of like Lunchbox. People tend to overlook him a little bit, but he does everything.
Yeah, Hines is solid. I
One
would
thing
never
about
count
Hines'
Hines
play
out.
style, if you actually watch his point of view, he's usually the one, he'll find someone else on his team and he'll go to that person and help them. He's not like necessarily listening to call outs or anything. He doesn't actually look to be like he's a good listener when you watch his point of view, because there's other shit going off on the side and he never looks that way, but he's a great teammate in that he finds someone and helps them succeed.
So I feel like a team with Ogre 2 and Hines together, you can't count them out. But the fact that they weren't doing well against the Agency, which is Ninja, Fear Itself, Hysteria, and Victory, really worried me in the Halo 2 Vista scrims, especially because we haven't seen Ninja, Fear Itself, Hysteria, or Victory X playing Halo at all recently.
No.
And they just slapped SDK in the scrims.
Didn't at least two of them play at PAX though?
Yes, Fear Itself
and Hysteria, I think. Yeah.
were playing at PAX. So besides that, one tournament, unless they've been grinding it. I know Fear Itself has started streaming recently, and Ninja's just getting back into Halo after his Destiny
Spirit Self still up all up on his
thing.
monitor like this in every freaking game.
I think he's a little further back, but he's still close. But I feel like that team might be able to surprise us a lot more than people have given credit to him.
Yeah, like Audley
Off the
said, it's going to
start.
come down to how well Ninja's mental state is.
Like
on
they
the-
don't have someone for objective game types either. Like you look at that lineup and you don't
Victory
see.
X, I'd say.
Yeah, like
He'll be forced to play that. I think.
yeah, and you're forcing someone out of their comfort zone to be able to win non-Slayer game types. Like comfort zone is important. Like people say there aren't roles in Halo. There are fucking roles in Halo, whether you want to admit it or not.
Yeah, they're
I'll do that.
definitely.
I don't see the. I find it difficult to get my head around the concept that 4 good Slayers couldn't translate to an objective game. I mean, unless you literally have an aversion to the objective,
Well, you don't
I
like
don't understand how
you don't have
that works.
you don't have the built-up experience on which way to run the flag when and when to drop the flag and turn and fight. You don't have that experience knowing from like hundreds of flag runs what to do with it. So you
Hold on.
just like
We can
botch a
drop
flag.
flag. Remember that. We can actually
But
drop
this
flag
is this is the era in which everybody streams and uploads video content to YouTube. There's no excuse for not learning all that stuff and spending several
it's
hours
not
before a
about
tournament at
having,
least
like,
putting it into practice.
It's not about having like the you've read about this. It's about having the in-game experience because that's an intuitive thing. Like if you see Lunchbox run a flag, you know he's gonna know when to drop a flag.
Hmm.
But like you see someone who doesn't run a flag every freaking game try to run a flag, and they're like, "Well, I can get it. I can get it." Well, fuck, I died because they try to do too much or too little, and it just botches the flag run because they don't have that like, iceberg built up.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about Ninja Fear Itself, Hysteria, and Victory. Is there anything else we want to add to that agency squad to talk about? No? Okay, so I'd say next is VWS, Nated, Legit, Miquin, and Goofy. They competed together at PAX, and they got second.
They're good, but they're not going to win because of Nated. Cursed.
Yeah,
Win.
Nated's cursed, but
I've coached both Nated and Miquin in the past. Nated is crazy. When he is in a good mood, he is one of the best Halo players. But there's no telling what his mood is going to be from a game-to-game basis, from a day-to-day basis, and he can get really out there. And he also has like not tunnel vision, but tunnel hearing. He'll like say stuff and not hear people responding to him, and then after the game he'll be like, well, why did nobody respond when I said I was doing this or I was going to do this or somebody come help me do this, when people were actually responding to him throughout the game. And Miquin, he turns into a stat whore when things aren't going well. He tilts really hard.
yeah, I haven't seen Miquin do too much objective work. Goofy, I just don't see him as the strongest player on that team.
He's pretty well rounded, though. I think Goofy is a fairly well rounded player.
Goofy before Adderall is not anything to be happy with as a teammate. Goofy on Adderall is something you don't want to mess with if you're on the other team. He's just it's two different players, so it really depends on what he's doing during the tournament.
How many milligrams he saves for Sunday?
Dude, if you saw him at the PAX event, I don't know if I think they showed him up on the cam while they were on his POV. They had his cam, and he was just sitting there, and you were just like, "Damn,
You mean
dude."
APG at every single tournament ever?
I really want Nated's team to win. I don't think they're going to win, but I just want them to win because they're like some of the only people that stuck with Halo throughout like kind of everything. Like Nated is, he's the guy who streams Halo 24/7, and he makes.
He
good
also
money.
tried to team with Boss Nasty.
I mean, it doesn't. I mean, whatever. It is what it is. But like he stuck to Halo when everyone else didn't. Do I think they're going to win? No. Do I want them to win? Sure.
Yeah, and Legit is just a monster.
Legit's a beast.
24/7. You Jesus. If I had to make a team, I'd always put legit on a team on that dream team. That guy is a beast. Next team, we already talked about Optic.
Yeah.
TCM, so the European guys.
Unfortunately, I can't contribute a whole lot to this.
Those guys are good. Like I played against them at
They're a
PAX.
European team, so they don't get to play against decent players.
Yeah,
That's
they're
the big
still good.
issue.
They went to a game 5 against BWS in the losers bracket, which is the team that got second. They went to a game 5 against them. So I feel like they could place top 4 if the bracket's in their favor or if they're having a good event. But if things don't go their way, they're gonna have a good time and probably get like 6th or 5th. You know,
Well,
I do see them
realistically,
breaking top 4 though.
I could see any team except Purple Rain winning it. Honestly,
Why do
Some
you
stuff-
think Purple Rain can't win this, man? They've got this. Gandhi and Maven will bring their like first person MOBA skills from Smite over, and it'll just
100%.
revolutionize Halo.
I was gonna say because Maven's playing a game that isn't Halo 1. That's why they're not gonna win. Basically.
Okay, so like we all see TCM actually doing well, especially
I
considering.
think top 4 sounds reasonable. I wouldn't
Yeah.
wouldn't
I
be
think top
surprised
4
at all
to
to see
5.
them
We're
make
going
that.
5.
Okay,
Alright.
top 5 from Funzbob.
Yeah. Like you said,
Then
it all depends on brackets and seeding and who they play, first, really. Which we don't know anything about, correct? We still don't know any of
no,
that.
actually,
So
I think they might have released the
Is
bracket.
it double elimination?
No, I don't think.
Oh, that actually changes a bit.
It might be.
Yeah.
It might be double
some
M best
some
of
of the
3.
shakier looking teams might need like
I think
that
it might be
slow start
double
and
M
losers
best of
bracket run.
3 series is what I've heard. I know it was something bad, and I think it was only the best of 3 was the bad part, because PAX they ran way late using best of 5s for everything.
Mm-hmm.
PAX was like we were there at 10 at night finishing up the TCM VWS game. It was
I killed
insane.
myself on that Sunday, staying up to watch that, and I had work the next morning. It wasn't really the best idea.
And let's see.
Went on
The
to like
next
3 o'clock in
team.
the morning.
The next team is Straight Rippin'. We talked about them a little bit, but
T Squared, Roy, Ryan Noob, and
Straight Sick.
Straight Sick, yeah. Straight Sick is I think he'll be good at Halo 2 Anniversary.
Yeah, I think Straight Sick is going to be the top performer at this event for Straight Rippin', to be completely honest, because none of the other guys have been playing Halo at all. And Straight Sick is he got
I wouldn't put
first
it
in the
past
free
Roy
for
to do that. I wouldn't put it past Roy to just suddenly pick up a controller and be like, "Oh yeah, I know how this works."
Ryan will just continue to be the most annoying player imaginable, both in voice and gameplay.
Yeah, but
But
this is going to be quite a Slayer-heavy tournament, I assume. So that's kind
Yeah.
of where Ryan Noob is less effective because there's
Yeah.
like
Unless he
bit
just
less
gets
for him to-
behind your team, but yeah. It's
My
not
only
as
thi-
effective.
my only thing is Straight Sick did win the Iron Gaming FFA and 4v4. He won both of the categories at that tournament. And I know it's like everyone's just gonna be like, oh, it's Halo 4, but that kid is kept up to date and been playing. He's still got everything down. He's hopping on Halo 3 now, just destroying everyone. And I expect him to actually be the rock that Straight Rippin' needs to actually pull, like, have a chance.
Okay, a question. You know how across the different Halo games the aiming feels different? Like you can feel the difference between Halo 2, Halo 3, and Reach, right?
Yeah.
What would you say Halo 2 Anniversary feels closest to out of those 3 games?
It's
Like just looking around with like how long it takes like the reticle to accelerate and how Halo 3 kind of feels. Well, it like runs on a grid whereas the others run on spheres, right? So it's a bit clunkier. How would you say Halo 2 Anniversary feels?
I feel like when you're actually in a fighting people with the battle rifle, the auto aim and how it keeps it centered on them is going to be very close to Halo 4, but the spread is is a lot tighter. So that feels that changes it up a lot. Having that tighter spread.
That wasn't really what I was asking though.
I know. The actual looking is I wouldn't know how to say it like that, but just describing a BR fight for people because I don't want to leave them without that. I don't know what you would consider the looking to be similar to be completely honest.
Okay, because I was going to say, depending on what it's closest to, it's going to, if people are playing Halo 3, for example, trying to practice for this, but the aiming feels nothing like Halo 3, that could be, well, it could essentially be wasted practice time if they could have been playing Halo 2 Vista instead.
I'm trying to think about my recent time on Vista and Halo 3 because the only thing I had played before that PAX event was Halo 4. So, like, I'm trying to think about
Halo
it now.
4 is actually quite smooth. I mean, it's like, it's similar to Reach, but not as bad. Whereas Reach is like really slow to get going. Halo 4 is a bit snappier. And it's still like smooth in all directions, whereas Halo 3 isn't. So, like on that end of it, like Halo 3, Reach, Halo 4, I think say Halo 4 has the best for just looking around. If we disregard aim assist and actual gun mechanics, because those vary vastly anyway.
You want me to try and relate it still? Because
if you can, if you can't, it's not such
I
a big
really
deal,
can't
I'm just
say
curious.
without definite, like, I can't say perfectly, you know? And you'll just, everyone will get mad at me if I'm wrong, you know? I feel like that's all based on feel. Anyways, what feels best to you? And if I say it feels better to your preferred game, if I say it, like, if you like Halo 2, I say it feels like Halo 2, you're going to be happy. And if it doesn't actually feel like Halo 2, you're going to be very pissed off at me. So rather not make enemies right now.
It depends on individual, maybe.
It depends on your personal preference for aiming, I feel like. Because I see the aiming in different games is pretty similar. And other people, like Matclan here, they feel like they're very, very different.
Frankly,
So.
I absolutely hate the aiming in all the Halo games except Halo 1 and 2. Feels like absolute. It feels like you got a friggin' brick strapped to the end of the gun or lead weight. It's terrible.
Let's talk about little. The chat's getting kind of restless and they want more Halo talk, less tournament, I think.
Okay.
Did we cover all the teams or no?
There was still we kind of just dismissed Purple Rain.
Yeah.
There's Believe the Hype, which is Formal Lethal, Maniac, and APG. Lethal and APG
Team
have been
Adderall.
playing, but Maniac and Formal haven't. But we know Formal's solid. I just feel like Maniac might be the weakest link right there. And overall, I don't know how well that team is going to do.
I don't know, but then again, APG with a hit scan weapon that's accurate is friggin' scary. Like, do you remember in the Halo 4 pre-release tournament, he was just wandering around with the DMR, just literally 5-shotting everything that got in front of him. It was ridiculous.
I can't hear Audley at all. Can you guys?
I don't think he's talking. Is he talking?
No, I can't hear him. I don't know if he's.
I don't hear him at all.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah,
we
we got you now.
Genius.
I said something about APG, about how many milligrams was he on during
Yeah.
Matclan?
I don't know. It was a while ago.
Did you guys see all the customization stuff the other day that they released about like the armor emblems, just kind of like that kind of information?
I didn't see that much stuff on it, but I heard
it's kind of like they took commendations from Halo 4, but they've tied it to like emblems and like the player cards that you could get in Reach, where you had like the backgrounds on them, like loads of those different ones. Like there's one called Silly Goose, where if you get 25 kills with a gun goose, it's a goose on your card, like an actual goose, not a mongoose. And if you beat all of the campaigns on Legendary or Skulls On, you get this one of like 5 skulls in a row, which looks pretty neat.
That. They have, I think they have like 150 different nameplates. Every one is like the same emblem 5 times, but it's different colors. They have like gold, black, green, blue, red, and like white or something. They have like
crazy.
one. Yeah, it's really impressive. They have 200 different emblems, 100 different backgrounds, I believe. They have 100 avatars, which I still don't know even how those come into play. I was
And
watching.
as of yesterday, they also now have 450 achievements for a total
Yeah,
of
yeah,
4
50
and a
new
half thousand gamer score.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And then there was a kid streaming the other day a campaign, and I asked him to show me some of the UI of like the service record, and he showed me a bit. And there's a lot of customization when it comes to like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think it's good because it gives people something to play for without being obnoxious and
Yeah.
affecting the gameplay. And
Okay.
it'll be cool if you come across somebody in a lobby who's got this really rare or difficult to get nameplate, and you can be like, "Oh, yeah, I understand like what it took to get that." So it's awesome to see someone with
The
it.
Someone said
important
there's an
question here is there a nameplate for getting like 1,000 Goss kills?
Don't know,
Just
but
rolling in the
probably.
Goshawk.
Someone said there's an achievement for killing someone on the 343 like team, or someone who has that achievement already.
Yeah, viral achievements.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Like that's
Those are pretty cool.
something that like because
Didn't
I
they
know
have
they're
that
gonna
in Titanfall?
do play dates.
I
They
remember
had
it's something
to
like
kill a, they had to kill a respawn or someone who's killed a respawn.
yeah, and I've seen it in other games as well. Like I'm trying to remember.
MW2 had an infected nameplate that you could get
That
where
might be it.
you kill them and then you've got that nameplate. So whenever
I
they've
think
got that
I think there was
infected
something similar
nameplate
for Team Fortress 2 in the orange box as well. I could be way off there. It's been a while since I looked at that achievement list.
But yeah, it's going to be nice to see those like nameplates and customization come into play for being rewarded for things you do in game. Like I have my lightning bolt in Halo 4, which is every Covenant weapon commendation. That took a lot of time, and it's a sick emblem. People message me pretty frequently. They're like, "Hey, how did you get the lightning bolt? Is that modded?" It's like, no, man, you just got to do the grind. That
I thought
plasma
that was for
pistol.
unlocking everything. I thought that was for 100% percenting every weapon.
No,
I
I
actually
think
got
it's
it.
just the Covenant. Is the
Actually
lightning
got
bolt?
Yeah, I got a message the other day when I was playing Destiny, based on the emblem nameplate thing I had in that, because Bungie set it up so that. Do you remember back on Bungie.net before they changed it? The forums had like rankings based on
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
And anyway, I got up to Mythic member at one point, and so I got a nameplate for that. Shield of the Mythics. It's like the Bungie icon in a shield, and the guy messaged me like, "Are you a Bungie employee?" Like, oh, this is a throwback to the days of Recon.
Yeah.
So
Um,
it would be nice if
did,
there's like something like that, or the nameplates in Halo Reach where it determined how many previous Halo games you'd played, and if you could somehow look at like your maybe achievement history for the Xbox 360 and give you a cool plate for having played the
Yeah.
series before or something like that.
well, I mean, like I said, there's like 150, I believe. So I mean, there's a lot. There was one. I think there's one for every weapon. There was like one. I saw a pistol, a shotgun, a hammer, a sword, a BR, rockets.
Okay, that's
I
a lot
saw,
of stuff.
yeah, I saw one with a nade on it, which I thought was kind of cool. So I mean, there's definitely a variety, and like you said, everyone's going to kind of be rocking what they want. Maybe we'll see the past Halos come into play. Obviously, the Skull ones is for the campaign people. What's going on here? Did anyone take any time off of work or school for this at all? Anyone go full retard and just do that?
I tried to, but someone else booked off the 4 days I wanted. He was already going somewhere, and they wouldn't let me be off at the same time.
I got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off for it.
Jealous.
And I stocked up on Red Bull, so I'm ready to go.
I'm gonna do a charity stream for over the weekend, like the first weekend after the Master Chief Collection comes out. I'm gonna play Halo 1 through Halo 4 campaign on Legendary in a single sitting, hopefully.
Could
See
take
where
a
that
while.
goes. Oh yeah.
What's your longest stream session or gameplay session?
I don't know, but I've stayed up more than 48 hours before. I'll be okay.
Okay, cool. Dude, I did during that Infinity Challenge grind, I
Oh
did
god.
56 hours. I was falling asleep at the controller. It was not fun.
I had a friend ask me about the emblems in Halo 2 and all that look like the Halo 4 emblems. Just to clarify for everyone, those are all like selectable. Like you can make it so that is something you can see or not see. Just to like clarify, because I know there's a lot of people who don't pay as much attention to stuff.
Dude, is that your second or third Red Bull for this talk?
That's my
Jesus.
second. My second.
God.
It's all right. It's good for you. It's got vitamins.
Good for turning your pee nuclear green.
There's definitely some vitamins in that.
Oh yeah, actually, about looking at like stuff on the service record, there's one ambiguous thing about the rank still as to whether it shows your highest skill achieved or only your current highest skill when you like select someone's
highest.
service record.
Oh, highest
And
ever? Okay.
Yeah.
I can't recall which they said.
I
Was it-
believe he said highest achieved. So if
Oh.
you're a 41 in Team Slayer, but you look at my service, or I'm sorry, if I'm a 41 in Team Slayer, but I'm a 50 in Rumble Pit, and you look at my service record, it'll show highest achieved of a 50. I don't know if it'll tell you what playlist exactly, but it will say your highest overall. Josh Mencken tweeted that out a while ago.
Yeah, I was concerned about though if like say your highest is whatever, but then you lose your highest, if it shows
Yeah.
you what your current highest still
Oh,
is, or the
Yeah,
overall
if you get
like
your
highest
50
ever
and then
achieved.
lose it, trying to help out another friend rank up.
I don't plan on losing those very often. I'm gonna lose them all. I'm kidding.
But if you lose your 50, will it still show that 50? Like in
50.
Halo 3, once you hit your 50, you just played and got XP until you are a general 5-star general. It wouldn't matter if you lost that 50 or not. If they have it so it's current, then you'll see a lot of people, or only the highest. Sorry. If it's actually what that rank is and it can go up or down for highest achieved, then you're going to see a lot of people just hit that 50 and stop playing, I think. And they won't venture into that playlist again.
They should have decay.
Yeah, it should reset or decay anyway over time, I think.
I would love to see EXP with playlists. I know I've said it a billion times, and I'll continue it.
Well-
It is, and in my opinion, it's the best thing for longevity for a game. Like Uni said, once you get your 50, it gives you a reason to continually just kind of grind that playlist for something, other than obviously resets, which I hate, but whatever. That's just me.
For me personally, Halo charts had more to do with me keeping playing than the EXP. Like I gave 0 fucks about what my rank or my EXP were, but I really wanted to be high ranked on certain Halo charts leaderboards, like the Goss Warthog and the Spiker, because I'm a little asshole. But like that got me playing a lot more than caring about what my rank was.
I don't know, I'm still always like a little nonplussed that people play. I really don't care about ranks, incentives, or any of that stuff. Just give me a game that plays well and give me some friends to play it with, and I'll be happy.
Oh yeah. And now that we have a 1,000 friends list.
Oh, yeah. It's no shortage of people to play with now. Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to have that expansion on the friends list. It's pretty crazy.
I hated going in alone back in the day. Like Halo 3 MLG solo queue. That was terrible. Halo 4 solo queue, even worse.
I still haven't maxed out my default friends list.
You has no
You're
friends?
not doing it right, man. You got to be a more social person on Xbox Live.
Man,
you
fuck all these people that play Halo. I play
That's not
PC
right.
games, man.
A PC elitist doesn't even want friends on Xbox.
Right.
I got some friends that matter, okay?
Goes the Abbey side.
What do you what can we bring up?
Okay,
yeah.
my turn.
Halo
yes.
5 Guardians beta is going to show up
Oh yeah,
at the
Forge.
tournament.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're gonna
yeah.
get a play at the tournament, right?
it's.
Okay.
I have a feeling the winning team of the tournament is going to play off against the 343 pro team in the Halo 5 beta as on the first broadcasted.
Dude, I've been saying
Oh,
that since they
with
announced
Bravo
the
coaching?
tournament, dog. Copycat.
Okay, well I apologize. I didn't see that you said that.
It's fine. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the winning team is the only team that gets to play the Halo 5 Guardians beta and they play that on the 10th at Halo Fest. So the actual tournament's the 8th and the 9th. Then you've got the Halo Fest, which is where the Halo 5 Guardians beta is going to be shown on the 10th. And I'm pretty sure, like Matclan said, they're going to be playing the Halo 5 or the 343 pro team.
Yeah.
Which is currently Gosei Army, Strong Side, Neighbor, and Dursky, right?
Yeah, and they have Killer V. I'm not sure which of those 5 is going to be playing.
I
I've heard
feel
he's
like
really good,
Strong Side's
so-
going to replace him. Probably.
I would not put it past it, but Killer V probably has a lot more XP with Halo 5 Guardians. It depends on how good Strong Side can get in the matter of
I
weeks.
say strong side picks stuff up
two,
quick
you know.
though. I mean, that Halo 2 anniversary it packs.
I was talking to one of the people that got the press release copy of the Master Chief Collection. They say they can start live streaming matchmaking. I believe that he said on the 7th. He might have said the 8th though.
7th.
So-
Okay, so that's probably when that 20 gig update comes out then, because
Yeah.
the current like the disc itself currently without that update doesn't have Halo 3 or Halo 4 multiplayer on it.
Yeah.
So like most of that 20 gigs is going to be those two multiplayers and then probably a couple.
Well, that's probably going to
back-end
come
patches.
out on the 5th or 6th then, because if they're going live on the 7th with media stream, then and the tournament's on the 8th, they're probably going to release that a few days in advance.
True.
I know the embargo lifts on stuff on the 7th, so
Okay, so that's what, the embargo, and we're going to see all kinds of like just a flood of just crazy amounts of stuff, and
yeah,
we're all going to be jealous.
More
insane
Halos.
amount of Halo content on the 7th to get you hyped 4 days before. 7th is the day actually before the tournament, so everyone's going to watch their videos then go
I'm gonna
watch
be-
the tournament.
My Xbox is not coming off of Twitch on that weekend.
I would hope not. The only thing on Xbox is Evolve right now, alpha for me.
Yeah.
And so I'd probably just turn on Twitch, or I think they have an ESL app now, so
They
you
do.
might be
Yeah,
able to
they do.
watch it on
They
the
do.
ESL app. The tournament.
I'm sure that'll be streamed from there as well for the Halo nonsense.
Okay. Now can we talk about Forge?
Well,
Yes.
In relation to
Go for it.
BTB net primarily.
Forge, man.
Right.
Go for it.
So, Halo 2 anniversary. We have Zanzibar and Blood Gulch, coagulation. Right. So we've got
We have
two
Ascension.
maps.
Ascension was in BTB and Halo 2, and look how wonderful that worked.
I want to say challenge accepted, but I don't know. No, let's not do that for now. Yeah, and we're also going to get 3 Forge canvases. We've seen one of them, which is like an island theme and it has water on it, but the water's
Yeah,
opaque. You can't see stuff
it's not
through it.
like-
So
it's only like a foot deep
And
though.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
they said it was 1 meter deep. So
Yeah.
or maybe not a meter because you could
no,
stand
a foot.
in
It was like a foot, I think.
it. Yeah,
It's
don't use
very
feet.
shallow.
they
Yeah,
don't
and
use
it's
feet.
very
Why-
opaque. You can't see through it at all.
Mhm.
I know, like if you looked at the Beaver Creek
It's
version,
secretly
it
Master
just looked
Chief's
like
piss.
ice, through the creek in the
But
middle.
yeah, still, I
It's
think
Funzbob's piss after drinking all that Red Bull.
Don't be mad at this. Don't be mad.
it's yeah. So we got these huge canvases, presumably with different themes. Hopefully, the Forge pieces have different skins on each canvas as well to further differentiate them, so that we can actually make real maps that don't look the same map to map.
Yeah, that's the big thing. I feel like aesthetic really helps out.
Like
and
if
makes
across
it
those
interesting.
3 canvases,
Now that we
could
can
get 4 or
actually
5
place
maps.
terrain-sized pieces, we can make big team maps.
And lots of them as well. I mean, you saw on that Forge reveal, right? Just they built like
Yeah.
a little demo bit, then they turned away from that, and there was this huge friggin' island which had an interior section with all these.
They
Well,
they
there's
made like
several
an
bases
even
in the-
more abominable Paradiso version.
Basically, yeah. Except it looked a bit bigger than Paradiso to me. And then they even built this little Beaver Creek thing off in the side as well. So that's a lot of pieces to use, and they
And
still
our
had some left
Forge
over.
maps can have things like standoff door openings and Zanzibar gates, and we can
I saw that,
actually
yeah.
make things that like you have to do this before you can use this path or whatnot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
we might be
scripted.
able to get one-sided game types as fun as Longshore Bomb again, where you have to like actually open a bridge or
Oh,
gate or
don't
something so that you
mention
can.
Longshore.
Hey, I like that map. It was one of the few things in Halo 3 that I would carry
Settle
over to a
down,
big game.
Wub Job.
Whoa! Don't even.
I've
go.
always just liked those interactive elements in the maps. So the Halo 2, you got the Zanzibar door, you've got
Yeah.
the falling bridge. All that stuff really is cool. And it when you get to there, it's like a little fight to get to that point. Then once you're at that point, it's a fight to do another thing. It's like little tiny accomplishments
Yeah,
within that game.
I think in big team especially, especially the one-sided objectives, it's a really really helps define the map because it breaks an overall strategy down into several smaller strategies.
And-
And it also allows you, it gives the room to do something totally out of the ordinary and ignore those elements and try to do a completely different kind of push as well. It's just a much more interesting experience to play or watch, I think.
One thing I noticed in the videos, there was also the ability to reverse like a gate opening,
Mhm.
and you could have like two different panels that both controlled the same piece. So, like, say on Zanzibar, for example, if you wanted the gate to be closable, you could put a panel out on the beach that the offensive team can push up to.
To
That's
go try and
hypothetically,
close
that's
their
not,
door.
yeah, that's hypothetically not a,
Yeah.
hey, we should do this.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
Like
but there's options like that there too.
it would be cool for something like Relic, where you'd have to drive into their base, turn on the teleporter, and then you could teleport from kind
maybe
of
we
your
could-
base, just outside of your base, into the actual structure. If they had to move all the way to your spawn, and like where that pelican was down, and they could hit something to
And you
turn
could
off that
also
teleporter.
make a switch to make those stairways from Relic that showed up in Slayer. You could make those just magically appear
Oh
with a
yeah, because they
switch.
weren't in flag. That's
Oh yeah,
right.
and
Yeah.
that bridge on Colossus, that central bridge on Colossus, that was only there on Slayer games, right? It wasn't there on Flag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can make those as a toggleable feature within a game.
It adds a significant element to the forge options. Like the forger has
I'm
a
looking really
much bigger
forward to
say
messing
in
with that.
yeah, the forger has a much bigger say in how they want map control to be defined on their game now, because you don't just have power ups and power weapons and spawns, but you've also got these switches which could affect minor to major elements on the map, which are going to attract their own kind of traffic. So it's a lot of possibilities, and I really want to see where we can take Halo 2 Anniversary Big Team. I'm gonna.
You
I just hope we get people doing new maps. We mentioned it earlier. New maps need to be made. We can't be playing the same old maps, or else it's just going to get stale, and no one's
Yeah.
going to really want to try them out.
Oddly, you've gone silent again.
I said very quietly, but it's stand.
it is stand up. Do you think for a BTB tournament or whatever, what game do you think would be most successful in aspects? Do you want a multi game? Do you want a single type game? Like that we have so many options with this
Yeah.
with Master Chief Collection. We have so many different variants and different like you said, every game is literally different, but everything offers something individually.
I want to do. If we do, I think for like a given tournament or league, it should stick to just a single game at a time. But I think for leagues, maybe we could run maybe 2 games concurrently, because that's I think that most teams could sign up for both of those games and still play like a series, like a series on each throughout the week or whatever, without too much trouble. I don't want to say stuff mix and match in the middle of, though. I think that would be a pretty rough experience, especially when you taking into account that half of the games include shot lead and the other half a hit scan. It's just going from one to the other in the middle of a series is going to be really
Jarring.
yeah, really
like,
jarring
throw
and
people
unset.
off.
Yeah, it's not. You're not going to see the best gameplay from the players when they've got to adapt to that on the fly. It's just going to reduce the value of the games overall.
Yeah.
Personally, I feel like we should main Halo 2 Classic until we build something really solid out of Halo 2 Anniversary, and then either alternate or settle on one of them.
I can agree with that, but
Bob's
I
got the
think we
product
should.
placement down pat on this stream.
I think we should really push to get H2A in a playable state for a big team, like as
I
fast as
agree.
possible.
Yeah.
That is going to be
Yes.
my priority. I
Because
mean, Halo 2
if
Classic
we-
is kind of it doesn't have Forge, right? So the settings debate is pretty much null. You slap the R starts on and a decent time limit, and maybe dabble with the flag return. Whatever. It's easy. It's something you can do in 5 minutes.
It's not even
Post the rule
Forge.
set and people play
It's
it.
not even Forge that I'm saying we should push for H2A for, although that's a big part of it. It'll be a lot easier to get 343 to work with us as BigTeamBattle.net if we're using the game that they are going to be pushing in their esports as well.
That's true.
Yeah, all
and
the
I also-
Halo 2 Classic tournaments are not going to be supported by 343, and if they ran H2A, these smaller tournament organizers, they'd get more support. Halo 343 is not going to want to show a 10-year-old game. Like they're
No, they
showing
want
it just because it's the fan service, but they want to show something that's up to date, looks good, and plays well. And that's going to be H2A.
Right, and H2A has the some alterations to the sandbox. I mean, we've got the Hornet, we've got the Gun Goose, we've got the Silenced SMG, the Assault Rifle.
Goose.
There's a lot to work with there in terms of like what we can actually do in creating a gameplay experience. And then, in addition to that, Halo 2 Classic is also a bit more challenging in terms of rule setups because of the glitches and primarily the super bouncers. If somebody super bounces out in a tournament or something, you've got to either disqualify them or make sure you've got that in the rules, got it accounted for. It's just a bit of a grey area that I think Halo 2 Anniversary simplifies a lot.
Yeah.
With the removal of the glitches, and in a big team situation as well, I think that a lot of Halo 2's glitches weren't as big of a deal as they were in smaller game modes. So having them removed for Halo 2 Anniversary is not going to hit the big team scene as hard as it would, say, the 4v4 scene. Like the double shot or BXB or whatever, you know?
Absolutely.
And
Teach me how
what's
to do Astros. I don't know how to wear them. How do they work?
I'll help you set them
Well,
up after
it's
the
like-
show, Funzbob.
Do I wear them like this to be cool? Is that how do you wear? I don't know how it works.
I
Someone
have
teach-
Astros on right now.
I know you do.
3 of us do. Bob's the only one not.
There you go. Is that how that works? You like this and you're cool.
That's how I saw people walking around them in the streets of Columbus.
Yeah, that's what you kids wear them at events like that. They walk around. When I was at Dallas, kids got robbed because they were wearing them outside. It's like
Yes, that's the best idea ever.
it's like you got to be stupid to walk around with a $200 headset just around your neck. You know, you got to expect that to get ripped off. But let's see. Do we want to talk about anything else? Someone mentioned controller layouts. I don't know if you guys.
Oh yeah, controller layouts. You can. There are several layouts that you can set to be universal across all games. So no matter what you play, you've got the same control layout. I don't think that's applicable to every single layout because some vary game to game. But there are several, including bumper jumper, I believe, that you can set to just be make a transition between the different Halo games completely seamless in terms of controller layout.
Yeah, you can have one for all or different ones for each one, and that's all. You know, which I think is going to be huge. I think people are, obviously very upset that bumper jumper is in H2, but I mean, for someone who plays bumper jumper like me, I love that fact.
Time for a bit of my own product placement.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Oh, okay. There we go. Okay, that brings up another subject. I was actually going to talk about this earlier. Scuffs. Do scuffs make as big of an impact on Halo as they do on Call of Duty? Do you think people will be, are we going to allow? I think Ace actually tweeted at Bravo asking if scuffs were allowed at this H2A tournament coming up.
Did he respond?
I honestly, I don't know. I never saw anything, but he might have DM'd him or texted him or whatever. I don't know.
Okay. I know.
The only buttons you can make to go on the back are actually the A, B, X, Y buttons. You can't affect any of the other things on the controller.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to put the back button so I could view the scoreboard on one of the bumpers.
Paddles.
Yeah, paddles.
Paddles.
But that's not possible, so
yeah.
You're
So
limited, and if you play a claw, it's not really going to make a difference. And the way that these things click is kind of it's very different to the membrane buttons. So the timing for the button glitches and whatnot is going to be very different. And the actual execution, I mean, it might be different for people with bigger hands, but for me, I have to actually shift my hand a little bit to get to those two middle paddles. So it's not as perfectly flawless as far as stick control goes as people would have you believe.
Yeah, I feel like
I think a lot of it is a knee-jerk reaction to a new controller, but then I'm also in the camp that believes we should have completely customizable controller layouts in games in 2014 anyway. So
what we talked a little about the controllers earlier. I feel like the only other complaint I would have with the Xbox One controller is that there needed to be buttons on the back by default, because that's where all your fingers are anyways. You hold it like this.
Nice idea. It's ergonomically makes sense.
But
my
so
fingers go on the. Hang on. When,
but
when
I'm go for it.
when I hold a controller, my fingers are down here.
Really?
I
Oh,
hold it
that's
like this.
interesting.
And
Like
then
I said,
when you
I do
claw,
hold
it's
it a little
just
weird, but
It's
as a
comfortable for me.
but like Matclan was saying, it's not entirely bad. I just feel like for a Halo 2 Classic, where you do have the button glitches, I could see where people freak out about scuffs. But any other Halo, it does not matter. It really doesn't matter. It should be, they